In this video, I'm going to finally finish up summarizing the quest lore for the Draenei starting zone. Now, this is the 5th video in this series, so if you want to catch up, then check out the links to the previous videos down below. Having said that, let's dive in and find out what's going on in World of Warcraft. If this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. My name is Quaylen, and I summarize the quest lore that you may have skipped reading while playing World of Warcraft. So if you're interested in the lore, but you don't want to go back and read everything, then make sure to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon for notifications. Now, before we finish off the quests on Azuremyst Isle, let's do a little recap from the previous episode. Last time we entered Odysseus Landing, and we're told by Admiral Odysseus that a few goblins were the cause for them landing here on this island. You also find out that a gnome engineer has betrayed the Alliance and has been working for the Legion. After killing the gnome, you find a letter containing instructions from Kael'thas himself, and now need to tell the Draenei people what's going on. But if you'd like to see the entire episode in detail, then go ahead and click this link right over here. Okay, let's finish up this zone. When you speak with Exarch Menelaus about the letter that you found, he says that he'll let Velen know what's going on as soon as possible. Now that the Draenei know the situation, we can finally head up to Stillpine Hold to speak with their leader. Once you arrive there, you speak with High Chief Stillpine. And you have no problem doing this because you've learned the Furbolg language through the totems in the area. He talks about a prophecy in which a hero not of the Stillpine would deliver them from devastation. And that hero is you. He also talks about someone named Kurz, and how he started dabbling in the dark stuff, which is what brought their peaceful ways of living to an end. After that little history lesson, you run up and speak to Mor'du. He says that when he and his brother were hunting in the woods to the east, they were ambushed by an insect-like beast. He mentions that if you're really the promised one, then you will strike these creatures down, thus preventing the apocalypse from happening. Mor'du wants you to bring back 8 Ravager hides from the creatures that you kill so he can make you some armor. I really think the whole story that he just pitched was really so you could just get some materials for him, but that's just me. Now you speak with Gurf. He says that the Murlocs to the west have been kicking them in their tails, literally. But more so, they've been stealing the Stillpine's food. So Gurf wants you to head out to the silting shore and recover 5 sacks of Stillpine grain. And if you see a Murloc with a patch of white fur stuck between his toes, well, you know what to do. From here, you head out and make your way to the east. Once you find the insect-like beasts, you kill them until you have 8 of their hides. Then you turn around 180 degrees and make your way to the Silting's shore. Once you get there, you recover 5 of the Stillpine grain, and also find a Murloc named Murgurgula. Okay. And after killing him, sure enough, you find a patch of white fur between his toes. So you're pretty sure that Gurf would want this back. After all of this is done, you return to Stillpine Hold, and when you arrive, you speak with Mor'du and turn in the 8 Ravager hides. And because he believes the prophecy is true, he rewards you with the Ravager Chitin tunic. When speaking with Gurf, he's happy that you brought back the stolen grain. And as for the patch of fur that you returned, he spits on it and attempts to attach it to a hairless patch on his backside, saying that this will have to do for now until a shaman can repair the damage. For returning his missing fur, he rewards you with a pair of heavy plate leggings. With those quests done, you run over and speak with Kurz, the Revelator. He's the one that's been looking into dark omens and all that bad stuff. But he says a beast of myth appeared in their village named the Kirkin, and that it killed many of the Stillpine. Kurz says that in his vision, he's seen someone defeated and thinks that that person must be you. So now he wants you to enter Stillpine Hold and kill the Kirkin, bringing back its hide as proof. When speaking with Stillpine the Younger, who is the heir of the Stillpine, he says that his defenders have been setting up traps, keeping the Wildkin inside of Stillpine Hold from attacking out here. But nobody has been able to do the opposite, which is infiltrate the hold. But if you can get in there and kill their leader named Chieftain Omoru, as well as 9 of the Wildkin, then it might give them an opportunity to strike. Now you run up to Hive Chief Stillpine once again, and he says that as Hive Chieftain, his immediate concern is the root of the corruption within Stillpine Hold. He's confused as to why the Wildkin, who were their allies at one point, suddenly began attacking them and took over the hold. So the chief wants you to find clues inside that would lead to a source of corruption. From here, you head inside of Stillpine Hold, kill 9 of the Wildkin, as well as their leader, Chief Omoru. Then you find and kill the Kirkin deeper inside of the cave. And behind him is a blood crystal which looks to be the clue you've been searching for. Upon closer examination, you find that the crystal is radiating something that's seeping into the water. It appears to be a crystal from the Exodar, but something doesn't seem right about it. It's blood red and dissolving into the water supply of the cave. This may explain the aggression from the Wildkin. From here, you head outside of the hold and speak with High Chief Stillpine. He says that his scouts have seen other blood crystals to the north of here, and asks you to leave him to confer with his elders. Now you run up to Stillpine the Younger. He says that with Chieftain Omoru dead, he'll send in his men to attack at once, and rewards you with the fortified wrist guards. Lastly, you run up to Kurz, and he tells you to take the hide of the Kirkin to Mordu, so that he can make some armor out of it. So you make your way back over to Mordu. And he says that this is the strongest armor that he's ever made. But sadly, if you play a paladin, you don't get anything. Now that the High Chief has had time to talk with his elders, you run back over to him. He says that the hold is now saved, and that his people will make their way back into their ancestral homes, but fears that darkness looms ahead for the Draenei, and asks you to tell your leaders about what happened here. So from here, you head back to Azure Watch in order to speak with Exarch Menelaus once again. He questions about you seeing the power core of the Exodar in the cave, which is the blood crystal that you saw. He also questions about the prophecy coming true about you being the hero and all that stuff. And something about a person named Oros being in a vision. Either way, he doesn't know what it means. Now that he's informed, you make your way north to Kessel's Crossing on the Bloodmist Isle to carry out the orders given to you by Exarch Menelaus a long time ago, and meet up with Vorkan the Elec Herder to find out what happens next in your adventures. And that wraps it up for the Draenei starting zone. There's more that happens on Bloodmist Isle, but we'll save that for another time. Next week, I'll be releasing the entire Blood Elf starting zone quest as a compilation because we're so close to the release of the Burning Crusade Classic. Might be something people want to watch if they're power leveling their Blood Elves. But before we finish this, I want to give a shout out to the Patreon subscribers for supporting this channel. You guys are a big help in keeping this project alive. If you'd like to support the channel, then click on the Patreon link down below. And with that, we'll see you next week when we find out what's going on in the Tales of Azeroth. So Gurf wants you to head out to the Silting store. Yeah, the store, because they got a store in every corner.